Hi everybody. Apparently I was I was recording on my own channel because I did this thing last week. I did this thing last week where I drank a little bit of alcohol. And hi everybody. Apparently I was I was recording on my own channel because I did this thing last week. Hey, Solar Bear, hey, good, alright, because I was like recording, I'm not seeing nothing. It doesn't look like I was recording. So, okay, now I'm on. Sorry, I'm 5 minutes late. Anyway, there we go. So, this isn't what I'm going to work on today, but, I've been animating this thing because I did this thing last week recently. Hey, Solar Bear, hey, good, alright, because I was like recording, I'm not seeing nothing. It doesn't look like I was recording. I animated this. Okay, now I'm elf character. 5 minutes late. Everybody seemed to really like it. And I thought, well, what else could I do with this character? So I thought maybe I could do more with him. This isn't what I'm going to work on today. So now I'm going to make a little film with this. But it started with just this recently. So then I was thinking, well, something's got to happen. It doesn't look like I was recording. There is an echo? Okay, now I'm elf. Is there? Everybody seemed to really like it. I thought, well, what else could I do with this character? Really? There's an echo? I don't know why there would be an echo. I'm make a little film with this, but there shouldn't be an echo. I don't think. Now is the echo? Is the echo still there? I was thinking, well, something's gotta happen. I'm not very good at this. Oh, you were hearing my earlier stream. Oh, well, maybe. But now it should be gone. Now everything should be gone. Really? Should be fine now? I don't know why there would be fine now? Or are you still hearing an echo? Oh, alright, okay, alright. Got it, guys. Got it all worked out now. No echoes. I had the stream on and I was listening to Cody Bear for the last couple of minutes, and I turned on the sound, and I usually don't have it on. But nope, I got it all worked out now. Now you should not be hearing any of that stuff. See, all right, good. Sorry, I use my computer for all kinds of stuff, so I'm always like changing configurations and whatnot, and that's kind of how it goes. All right, so anyway, you probably heard this all already, but you heard it in echo, and so what I was saying was that what I was just animating this character, just messing around, and then it kind of turned into something else. So I configurations and what the hell? And why is it doing that? Oh, all right. Got it. I'm not even drinking. All right. So anyway, so then this was gonna be the second scene that I wanted to do. This is what he's This is what he's doing. So it was gonna be that, and then I needed to figure out how to animate that character, and I just started it. I still gotta mess with it, and it's just the beginning and stuff. Hey, Silvio, hey. All right. Thanks, Bat Monkey. Yep. That's me. Tech savvy. I am quite tech savvy, actually. I gotta say, I am tech savvy. I don't know what the hell I was doing. But I, obviously, it was an epic fail. I don't, I sat here the whole time going, all right, what am I going to animate? What am I going to do? All right, so, hey, Livy Bunny, how you doing? Welcome. Thank you for showing up. It's awesome that you that you showed up after my epic fail of not getting this stream correctly. So, anyway, today what I was going to do, although I was playing around with this, I figured the things that I need to do with this aren't going to be that interesting. Like, primarily what I'm going to do is make the mouth move and probably make the arms bend or something like that. But that's not terribly interesting, really, because it's just artwork. So what I thought I would do today is to make a character, to rig a character in Animate. Oh wait, whoops, it's not there. Oh, I know where it is. That's what I was thinking of doing, because I need to do this anyway, and this seems like a perfect opportunity to do this thing. So I'm gonna take this character and I'm gonna rig this guy, who is Boudreaux's, who is Carbonate's brother. If you've watched this stream before, you've seen Carbonate. Oh dear. Yeah. What's up? Hey, Neil J. What's up? Thank you for coming and watching my my stream. So, all right. So here we go. Without further delay, I'm just gonna start to rig this character so that you guys get an idea how you rig a character in Flash. I don't know if I'll get a chance to animate it. It takes a while to do something like this. But if you guys can follow along and watch, you'll learn at least the basics of how to rig a character for animation in Flash. I think at least some of you might find it useful. So, the first thing that I usually do, I mean, obviously you draw a character first. I almost always animate a character at a 3/4 because they can look to the left, they can look to the right, and it still basically works as a face. Whereas if you do front, it looks more like they're talking to the camera, and so I try not to do that. Boudreaux. Well, Boudreaux is Carbonate's surrogate brother, more or less. As I mentioned before, well, here I'll import another one of Boudreaux, or of Carbonate. Yeah, there he is. So this is Carbonate. If you haven't seen this before, I have this character called Carbonate. He's basically made in a lab. I'll import this one as well. The United States government many years ago decided to make a artificial life form, and they wanted to use them as super soldiers. But well, Fancy Jancy. Hey, this might be a dumb question. I'm new to Twitch. On my app, when I'm watching playbacks, there are chunks of audio missing and it's red on the toolbar. Oh, maybe because you've got it's muted? That's the only thing I can think of. Oh, that's probably earlier, right? Yeah. Yeah. That's why I don't do music, because I don't want to try and find uncopyrighted music. So that's why you just listen to the dull quiet of my office and the fan going, and that's it. But I don't know, maybe someday I'll have music going, but I have enough trouble trying to get my audio to work correctly, so I don't do that. Anyway, so Carbonate, this is the kid. This scientist tried to create artificial life form for the FBI and the government in order to do in order to make super soldiers. Well, he did, and he created one out of the building blocks of life, which is carbon. He made 1 through 7. They kept exploding. When he got to carbon 8, actually carbon 8 gained the ability to mutate and to bubble up, as like these drawings. And but this character Pops really didn't have the ability to take care of a child, even though he has a child, and he just put him in the lab in front of the television, and so he grew up on television, watching television. And so anyway, the idea behind this is that Carbonate destroys the lab, the government sends everybody packing, and doesn't really know. Pops, who's the lead scientist, doesn't know what to do with Carbonate, so he takes him home. And to his home, at his home already, is Boudreaux, who is Carbonate's surrogate brother. He's a little anal retentive, and a little too detail oriented because he has to take care of his father who's absent-minded. So he's very anal. Anyway, that's who Boudreaux is. And now you know. So I'm going to take this character and I'm going to rig him. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the skull. Because with Flash, or with Animate, with any kind of animation in this program, you typically have to draw, you put the assets above the character. Now, there's other people do it other ways. There's a lot of ways to do this. This is the way I do it. But I always take the, I make the skull. The skull is basically the hair and then the fleshy part. That's pretty much how I do it. But it's the fleshy part without the jaw because I'm going to do the, although I will draw a jaw, I'm going to eventually delete it because that's going to be part of the head, part of the mouth. I'm having trouble this morning. I didn't even drink last night. Oh, all right, Bat Monkey, see ya. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate it. So, all right, so this is so here's my skull. I'm gonna set up this little hairline here. And really, I could break this down further if I wanted to. I could separate out the hair as well, put the hair above the skull, and I might actually do that because if I do that, then I can slide the hair up and down, which will make it look like there's a little bit of a, like he's tilting his head up and down. So I'll probably do that. In fact, let's just do that. Let's see. I feel like I should have some music going, but I don't know. I don't know where you get, like, it's hard to manage all that stuff. Alright, hold on a second. I'm going to turn this off so I can get the color. Oh, you know what? Actually, I can do that like this instead. Just going to color him. And I need to grab the color. Oh, that's right. It doesn't work that way. I do not like that. All right. Well, all right. Let's just drag the wait here. Let's do it again. Drag it in here. There. Now I got the actual colors. I have this set to transparent, which is a new feature in Adobe Animate, which allows you to turn down the opacity of a layer so that you can essentially trace over it and use it as reference. And the way you do that, if anybody's interested, is to right-click on the layer, scroll down to Properties, and then you'll see you have visibility. I can do transparent or visible. The visible will just give it full opacity. Transparent will make it transparent. Right now it's set to 50%, but you can change that. And you can also make a layer invisible. And the reason you might want to do that is because I want to keep this as reference, but I don't want it to render once I turn it into a movie. So that'll allow you to do that kind of stuff. Anyway, so, but because it's, I also need to color the character in, and so I need an actual full color character as well, so I can drop, eyedropper the colors. So that's what I'm doing now. That's why I added that thing. Nope, I don't want that. I want this layer there. And so now he's in. Now we're getting somewhere. All right. So now what's this? I need this color. I have found that it is generally not a good idea to try and model or design a character in Flash. Not design, but if you're gonna animate something, you should design it first and then rig it, like I did here. I designed this character, and then now I'm going back and adding to it, and now I'm gonna rig it. Otherwise, it ends up being too complicated to try and rig a character while you're designing it. So you, hey, do I have time for another stream on my own channel anytime soon? I don't know. You know, I was gonna do that. The only time that I could probably do it would be Saturday night, and which would be tonight, and I got freelance to do again, and I don't know whether or not my wife is into it, but if she's not around, then I may do it. Yeah, I'll definitely do it again. It's just a question of finding a way to allow for that. So I need to add these little highlights that he has on here. So the way that you do something like, I mean, there's multiple ways you could do it in Animate, but the way I do it, which I think is the easiest, is to select the artwork, and you've already got your color ready to go, which is this lighter color. And so select the artwork, and then when the brush tool is invoked, when you've got it pressed down, you can go down to this little thing down here, the brush mode, and you can select different choices. I want a paint selection, and because I have the hair selected, it will only draw on the hair. So that'll allow me to add little highlights that I want in here without messing up the line. Because otherwise, I mean, I could turn this off and try and do these lines inside his, inside there and not mess up the black line itself, but that doesn't really work very well. It's very hard to do that, even if you have a very steady hand. So I don't do that. I've found that this works out nicely, and it allows you to give a little bit of highlighting to something. And let's see, does he have one on? No, it's only there. Okay, so good. So there we go. There's your little highlight thing. So, all right. So, let's see. Now I need to. All right, I'm gonna call this hair. His name is Boudreaux Hair. And I should explain. So I'm just gonna select this entire layer here, which is just his hair, and then I'm going to hit F8 on my keyboard. And the thing to remember about these, Animate uses F5, F6, F7, and F8 as primary tools for animating in it. F8 is to turn a piece of artwork into its own symbol. And the reason that you do that is because when you create it and when you turn it into a symbol, it has its own timeline, which means that you can add poses to it and essentially animate every part of the character independently, so that the program can view what frame you want the viewers to view on any given frame, which is hard to explain, and I'll show you as we go along. But I need some of this. Hold on. All right. Hey, what's up, Jesse J. Jones? How you doing? I like it. I like it. I like to see you here. Thank you very much. And why, yes, I am extremely handsome, as we all know. It's obvious when you look at me. Anyway, I'm an idiot. All right, so I selected this hair. I'm going to hit F8. When I do that, this little window comes up. It says convert to symbol. I'm going to make sure that I name it something. I'm not just going to leave it, symbol 1. So I'm just going to name it B Hair because his name is Boudreaux. So I'm just going to call it B Hair because, and the reason I'm going to do that and not just call it hair is because if I choose to bring him into another file that has a character with hair or a character with eyes or whatever, and they're named the same thing, Flash will try and overwrite one thing as over another. So that would be bad because then you would end up with one hair and not hair from two characters. So anyway, so it's important to name things when you're putting them in the library. So now I'm going to convert to symbol, and you're going to notice, if you notice down here, this is my library. You can get the library by window and then scroll down to library. I can't do that while it's doing here, but I'll show you in a second. Anyway, so as soon as I click this OK, you're going to see that there is that artwork in my library, and that is a symbol. Now watch what happens when I click this. Notice that there's 4 layers here, right? But if I double click on this piece of artwork, you notice it's got a blue box around it now. That shows that it is a symbol. If I double click inside, you'll see that all of those other layers disappeared, right? They all disappeared. And the reason that they all disappeared is because everything you turn into a symbol in Animate gets its own timeline. And that becomes extremely valuable, and quite honestly, I would say it's probably one of the most valuable things in Animate, and one of the reasons that no other program has really taken a foothold in animation, except for Harmony, Toon Boom Harmony, which is also a very good program, but in a lot of ways it just stole what Animate already did. So anyway, so now I've got this hair. Now I'm just going to go through this character, and I'm going to draw each part of them and each part of this character and create it as a symbol. I'm not going to worry about putting them on separate layers, but ultimately I'm going to put everything on another layer. Sometimes I'll have to, but sometimes I won't. So anyway, now I'm going to do the fleshy part of the skull here. And that's just really nothing more than just a circle. Oh wait, where did it go? Oh, aha! See, now I had that draw selection, paint selections selected. So you'll notice that I can't draw at all. See, it disappears. You go, oh, I hate that. Why is it doing that? I hate this program. No, it's user error. You're doing that. In order to change that and make it work correctly, you need to switch back to paint normal, and then it will work. I do that all the time, so it happens. But anyway, so here is, there's this little fleshy part of his skull. And I need to go over and get his color. And this is the way that I set up all characters for animation. In the past, if you've been watching this stream, you've seen that most of the stuff that I have done is really just hand animation. I'm drawing frame by frame, but almost all real Flash animation is done this way. It's done completely different. And you create all the assets for the character, and then you rotate and manipulate them. And let's see, Martin Kashi says, and why you put all in symbols? I am started with Flash, and all things just came to new school. Well, that's what I was explaining before. The reason that you do that is, well, first of all, because now they're selectable on their own. But second of all, the reason that you would do it is because it allows you to have its own custom timeline, which allows you to draw extra stuff on here that you can then expose on the timeline. Just bear with me, and I'll explain this in a second. When I get to the mouth, everything will be a little more obvious as to why it does that. I am going to continue with this, and I need to turn this into a symbol, his skull here. And actually, though, I'm going to split this in half, because this part down here is going to be his mouth, because I am going to be able to move the jaw while he's animating. So I'm going to take the bottom part, and I'm going to make that the mouth. I'm going to hit F8, and I'm going to call that B mouth. Now, the thing to remember about this and doing this stuff, this is really important with when you're animating characters. You need to make sure that this is a graphic clip, graphic symbol, not a movie clip. They're different animals, and you, as an animator, I could go into details as to why, but basically, movie clip is really known for when you're programming something because it is. Just trust me. You want graphic. I could go into it, but there's not much point. Just follow what I'm saying. So we're gonna change this to B mouth. Now there's its own time. Now he's got his own timeline again. See, and then now I'm gonna go back out, and I'm going to select the head, or the top part of the skull. And so all I really did was just drag over all that, and I'm gonna unselect the hair, because it's all on one layer, and then I'm gonna select just this part of the skull. I'm gonna hit F8, and I'm gonna call this B skull. Okay, and then now notice that it's now it comes up on top, and I don't want it that way. I want the hierarchy to be underneath. It's ultimately not going to matter because when I finish this, I'm going to put them all on separate layers. But for this purpose, right now, if you hold down Control or Command, depending upon what you're on, and the down arrow on the keyboard, you can manipulate where things are, whether or not it's above or below. So I want it to be below, all right? So now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the ear. I'm going to put the ear on another layer just because it's easier to draw it right now. What I'm ultimately going to do here, just so if anybody that's wondering, I am going to draw all of these assets, and then I am going to take them all, and I am going to put them all inside another symbol so that they all have their own layers inside another symbol, and then I can manipulate that entire symbol as a character. And the reason that you do that is so that if you want to resize a character, you can. This part right here, you'll notice if I turn off everything else except this ear, you'll notice that this has a space, which essentially means that I can't fill it in. Now, there's a number of ways I could color it in. The easiest way is to fill, but you can't fill if there's an empty space. So you can to a certain degree because you can change the gaps. When you have this selected, this paint bucket tool selected, you can change the gap ratio for how much it will pretend that that gap isn't there and still fill in. But this is too big of a gap. So the way that I typically do it is I will select my brush tool. I will go to my paintbrush, my brush mode is what it's called, and select it, and then I will paint behind. And so now I'm really just going to put a line here so that it has something to fill in, and then now I'll fill it in, and you'll see that, bam, there you go. Now he's got an ear. So now I'm going to hit F8, and I'm going to say B, ear, and now I've got the ear. So now I'm going to unhide this stuff again. Oh, it's the wrong color. I'm not sure how I managed it. What is going on here? Yeah, that's right. There's a bug in the current version of Animate, and the although that just helped me actually. That makes it hard to select colors unless it's just flat artwork on the stage. It doesn't seem to want to select anything inside a symbol. So, but I didn't know that until just now. So that's actually useful. I can I'm gonna log that as a bug, and maybe they can fix that now because we've been. I work part-time on the beta team. I don't work. I don't get paid, but I like Flash and I like Animate. I'm never gonna remember to call it that. Some days I can, some days I can't. Anyway, I can log this as a bug now. I think I understand it a little more and why it's not working right. Let's see what are you guys saying. What's the name of my animation pad? Yes, I am using a Wacom Cintiq. No, mine actually is it's a 22 HD touch, which allows me to turn on touch if I want. I don't use the touch, but it has a button that will allow me to turn touch on, and then you can touch. It doesn't really do very much, but I can do it. I don't keep it on at all. I bought this on eBay for $1,000, which was I think $1,200 lower than it is. So all right. So I'm gonna continue here. Now, the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the mouth, and I'm actually gonna let me select all of this stuff because I'm gonna put it all on. I'm gonna put it all in its own symbol, the head symbol. So I'm gonna hit F8. Well, actually, you know what I'm gonna do first? Let me get the rest of these things first. I need to get his eyes first. Let's do another layer here for his eyes. Let's see. And really the way I draw eyes is I'm just going to keep one eye, and then I duplicate the eye. And I think that might be too big for the head, so because it would come below the jaw, so I have to make his eye just a little smaller. I can always resize it after the fact. All right, so now I've just got the whites of his eye. That's fine. I'm going to set up the eye later. But for right now, I'm just going to use the whites as an example, a placeholder, B-I. All right, so now I've got an eye, a mouth. I'm going to duplicate this eye. And the last thing I'm going to do, now I need to mess with the mouth. And there's brows and all that stuff. Let's see. What did you guys say? Oh, yeah. Hey, look at me. Yes, I am an Emmy Award-winning... I don't know if I'm a wizard, but I'm definitely an animator. But, thank you. Hey, Hunter! My nephew Hunter is watching. What's up, dude? Hunter's awesome. Hunter's just one of the nicest, sweetest, coolest kids in the world. Anyway, it's my nephew. Say hello to my nephew, everybody. Thank you for watching, Hunter. That's awesome. I'm sure you're busy. I know you're a busy kid, so thank you for taking the time to watch me for a couple minutes. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to continue here. And I got my ear. So now I've got to do the mouth. And this all looks like gobbledygook, I know. But it's all going to make sense shortly. So the next thing I'm going to do is I need to draw this character's mouth. And you'll notice that when I drew this basic part, and it's just the basic jaw right now. But now I need to draw all of his little mouth poses here. And the reason that I'm going to do that is because if he talks, I want to be able to do all of the positions of the mouth. In animation, people use certain codes for mouth poses so that they're standard. And like for instance, see, I work on a show called Uncle Grandpa, and which is on Cartoon Network. And this is a let's see, yeah, this is a mouth chart. This is a standard television mouth chart. And you'll notice that there's little letters underneath it. Well, the letters actually don't correspond to what mouth pose he's making. What they correspond to is just what we're calling this to be. It's just a symbol of it. So this is a closed mouth. And the closed mouths are consonants. Yeah, it is a good show, Hunter. I love this show. So closed mouth is usually consonants. Open mouth is a ah, and then a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger, a little bit bigger. This is the beginning of an oo. It's really an in-between a real oo. This is a f, right? This is a L. This is a another form of an L, and this is a t. And the numbers or the letters just correspond to so that we can call to them and everybody knows what mouth pose we're saying. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click inside this mouth symbol, and I'm going to use that jaw as the starting point for it, and I'm going to draw all the mouth poses that I need based on this. So the first one that I'm going to do is, well, I'm going to actually lock that layer, and I'm going to do, whoops, I'm not going to do it in white. I'm going to start with a mouth, with the mouth closed. Okay? Let's see, are his Harry Potter? I don't know what you're saying, Kanye. But hey, how you doing? Good to see you. Thank you for showing up. What do I do with these symbols? You animate hair like the wind and then just click 16 and you have hair animated. No, that's not really how it works. It's hard to explain without showing you. So just bear with me, and I'll show you exactly what you use the symbols for. They are used for especially things like lip sync. You'll notice that I'm on scene 1, which is just my main stage, and I'm inside the mouth. And then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw every position that I think I might need for the character to animate and speak. And then when I go back on the main stage, I can click a keyframe and tell the main stage what frame I want to view. That's why you do it. And it's a little hard to explain without seeing it in action, but I'm going to attempt that. And but I need the assets in order to pull that off. So just bear with me with that question for a second, and I will hopefully answer your question. So the next one I'm going to do is I'm going to actually do a I'm going to do a little bit of a teeth mouth. So he's got teeth. The next one I'm going to do. Oh, and as I go along, you'll notice that I'm going to create new empty frames. And the way you hit an empty create an empty frame is to hit F7 on your keyboard. You can also right-click on the timeline and convert to blank keyframe. I use F7 because it's easier for me. Do I recommend the Cintiq 22 HD or Cintiq Companion 2? Well, I have them both, actually, and I like them both for different reasons. The Cintiq 22 HD is a 22-inch monitor, whereas the Cintiq Companion is a 12-inch monitor. And while I like it a lot, the real estate of what you get to see and what you're drawing is smaller. So it's great for bringing it somewhere and you want to draw in a coffee shop or whatever. It's a very powerful tool. In fact, I would argue that it's the best tablet you could possibly buy if you're an artist and want to draw, especially if you want to use Animate, because Animate, because it's vector, because you're drawing with vectors, it requires high processing power and makes it a little hard to use with a standard tablet. Like, for instance, a tablet that does not work is the and actually that's not working right. A tablet that does not work is the Surface Pro 4. If you're interested in drawing and animating with Animate, do not buy that tablet because it does not work. It works fine for all kinds of things, but it doesn't seem to play nice with Adobe because it does weird things. It doesn't have thick and thin with regards to Animate, and nobody's really quite sure why that's happening. Why can't I get that the right way? So I would stay away from that if I were you. I think if you only want one tablet, I would say the best tablet to get would be the Companion. If you want a desktop and you're going to draw most of the time, I would get a desktop. I would get the 22 HD and connect it to your computer. That's a better way to go. But if you don't have a nice setup or an office or a space and you're drawing on your bed, well, then the Cintiq's not going to help you. So then you probably would want to get a Cintiq Companion. I have both because I can afford both and I use them for various things. But not everybody can do that. So, the Cintiq Companion is better if you want to, if you need to be mobile. If you're not going to be mobile and you don't think you're going to be mobile, I would not get it. Yeah, the Surface Pro 3 and the 4 are okay. I think the biggest thing that Microsoft did wrong with that program, or with that tablet, is that they chose not to use Wacom drivers, and they switched to something called N-Trig, which is was a Israeli company that made an alternative type of drawing. What do you call it? Plug-in for or driver for animating and drawing on the screen. But the problem with it is that it just never was as good, and everybody's always trying to find a substitute for Wacom or Wacom, depending on what you want to call it. And there are substitutions, but really Wacom's the best. It's better to just wait and buy what works than it is to try and cheap out, especially if you intend this to be your livelihood, because there's no comparison. If you go on the web, you will definitely find people that will say, "Oh, I like the Surface Pro. It works great for what I do," but they just doodle. That's it. They just doodle. They don't work in a production environment. They don't have deadlines. They're just at a coffee house. And if that's what you're doing, then that's fantastic. And it's a great tool because the battery life is exceptional on it. It's a really strong tablet as long as you're not trying to do serious artwork, because the processing power and the graphics card just really don't hold up, and the ability to draw with thick and thin lines is not as good as you would find on a Cintiq or a Companion for that matter. So as you can see, what I'm doing here is I am just drawing all of the poses. I'm not worrying about the chin yet because I'm going to take that afterwards and I'm going to bend it in order to match the chin, so in order to match where the mouth pose is. So I'm not worrying about that right now, and you don't really need to worry about it now. I'm just drawing the positions that I feel this character might want. Well, not that he wants, I want in order to make him work. Oh yeah, you were gonna buy, they could have been really pro, but they opted out. I agree. And even, you know what, I'll tell you what, there is the Surface Book. And man, I wanted to like that thing so badly. I intended to purchase that thing. That was going to be mine. That baby was mine. I was waiting for it. I could not wait until it came out. And then there was all kinds of problems with it. All kinds of, it was crashing. It was causing all kinds of issues. And they've never really fixed those issues. So, and I don't understand why they do that kind of thing. I mean, that seems to be the way companies behave. They're like, rather than to fix what's wrong, they just come out with another one, and we're supposed to trust that that one's going to be, oh, finally you'll actually do it right. Well, why don't you fix the actual one that the people that bought already made? Because, I mean, those things are not cheap. They're not cheap at all. And I think that it's really an embarrassment to them to not address the issues that they already have. I mean, the other thing about them, and this is more a Microsoft thing, which kind of irritates me, is that there is a thing called palm rejection, right? So you go, palm rejection is supposed to be if you have a touch screen and then you start drawing, that it's supposed to be smart enough to realize that you're using the stylus instead of the hand, so that it won't start putting lines all over because your hand is touching the screen. And no one does it well. No one does it well. It's not a well implemented thing, and that's directly on Microsoft. No one seems to be able to get that well. And case in point, watch any of the commercials that have that tout the pens, including the legendary iPad Pro, and they do not touch the screen when they draw. They don't touch the screen. They do this. This is what they all do, and they're like, "Oh, look at me drawing! I'm drawing this 4-hour beautiful masterpiece here, and I'm keeping my hand levitated for 4 hours," which is complete bull. No one does that. No one draws like this, hovering above their pen. At least not anybody with any precision. So you need the precision in order to do that. And Apple's touting their pencil as being this great tool. And I would argue that it's not such a great tool. It could be, but Microsoft specifically does not allow you to easily disable touch like on the Surface Pro. In order to do it, you have to actually go into the device manager and turn touch off. And there's some people that have made little hacks and stuff that will allow you to actually. I'm not liking this. I'm going to do this again. That will actually allow you to turn it on and off with a button. But even that doesn't work so well, and I believe because probably Microsoft has attempted to prevent you from doing that. They want you to use touch. But the thing is that I'm an artist. I don't want to use touch. If I'm going to pay $1,200 or $2,000 for a tool, you better damn well let me do that. Anyway, what are you guys saying? I recently picked up an XP Pen 22 HD, and it is very comparable to the 20. It's the only competitor that I've tried and enjoyed. Really? The XP Pen 22 HD. All right. Well, let's just take a second and see what that looks like. Shall we? Why not? Because why not? I'm drawn, but everybody likes to talk about technology. Let's see. Well, everybody does that's involved with this. So here it is right here. $600? That's cool. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a nice looking device. The stand looks just a little flimsy, but maybe not. And it works well, huh? That's the key. Well, I've done a bunch of reviews for these things, and I have yet to find anyone that works well. That's cool, though, Swan Meat. I'd be interested to hear more about that. I run a website on the side called Animation Insider that reviews these kinds of things, in addition to Insider.com. And we review hardware and software for animation, in addition to interviewing people across the world that are associated and working in the animation community in some capacity. And if you're interested, I would love to have you do a review of it, and we'll post it on the site, Swami. If you're interested in that, let me know, and send me a private message or something like that, and I would love to hear what you have to say about it. If you're not interested or you're too busy, I totally get that. I understand. But it is important to help, I feel, to help our art community so that they don't get duped. And that's one of the reasons why I do what I do on that site. If you haven't checked that site out, you might find it interesting because we have interviewed over 1,200 animators across the world. And there's a lot of amazing artwork up there. A lot of different types of artists from all over the world. And what's amazing about that, I've mentioned this before, so forgive me if you've already heard me say this, but I find it really fascinating because I don't know about the whole world and what everybody's doing out there. And so, we'll get an animator from, I don't know, something like Iran, or Yugoslavia. And they have their own programming. Sure, they have, the American stuff because everybody seems to gravitate towards that. But they have their own stuff as well. And so, he'll talk about his 2 years' work, this guy from Yugoslavia. And he's like, yeah, I was was an animator, or I was a character designer on Vushkivu. And, yeah, it was great and we loved it. And, it's a highly rated show. And you go, what's Vushkivu? I've never heard of Vushkivu. Wait a minute. And then you go, and he sends you a link of what Vushkivu looks like. And you go, holy crap, that's really cool. I would love to watch Vushkivu if I could get it on television here. And it just opens your eyes as to what the world community is doing as far as animation's concerned. I love to see that kind of thing. So anyway, that's what Animation Insider is about. We interview a lot of people. Mostly my wife does all the work because She's awesome. But that's what the site does. So if that interests you, you might find that interesting. Let's see. Oh, could you see the full shot for a second? Yeah, sure. We're just what we're doing is I'm rigging a character in Animate, and this is the character. So I'm going through and tweaking this to so that I can then animate it. Let's see. What do we got here? Swan Meat saying, I keep every time I say Swan Meat, it sounds like swap meat. And it makes me think of, I don't know if anybody plays video games here, but, well, I guess you should because it's Twitch and that's where it all comes from. But that's where it all started. But basically, it makes me think of Swan, which is in Fallout 4, and he's this mutant that lives in this pond. If you come across him, he's like 4 stories tall, and he has this giant fire hydrant that he's attached to like a street sign, and he attacks you and beats people. But I like Fallout 4. All right, so I got a couple more mouths to go here. There's that one mouth, and then I've got probably one more. I'm gonna do the mouth where he's just sticking his tongue out. And there. All right. There we go. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, well, first I need to color all of these. So let's go back and do that. And what color did I make it? I made his mouth. All right. His mouth is standard red. When I directed a show back in the 90s called Pinky and the Brain, and I directed a lot of stuff at Warner Brothers, animated there and whatnot. And the color that they always use for mouths is just a standard red mouth. And luckily, Animate has that default mouth right here. That's the color I use for all mouths, unless for some reason the character isn't, doesn't have skin. Like, typical human skin. Like, for instance, Carbonate, the other character that's in this little concept of mine, is blue, so I used a darker blue. But I use this red for almost everything for this. All right, so now I'm going to go and I'm going to do the teeth really quick. So now the thing about this is that here I am making all these mouth positions, and I'm going to reuse these over and over again. So it took me what? It took me, I don't know, half an hour, 15 minutes to draw this stuff. But if you've just got a character that stands there and talks like a radio show sort of thing, but live... Whoa, what happened there? What's going on? All right, there. Half your animation work is done. You just, record some audio, and then you've got all your lip sync here, because I'm going to reuse all this stuff again, and you'll see that it's very easy to create an animated sequence using Animate. All right. So now you can see, look, it almost animates. Yeah, I would probably do a little bit more to make it cleaner and whatnot, but it essentially works. Like little things like this bug me. It's a little blip there, but I can fix all that after the fact. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and I'm going to create a keyframe for every one of the keyframes for these mouth positions. And I'm going to do that by I just click dragged, and I'm going to hit F6 and it creates a keyframe for every one. And then I'm going to match how each one of these works so that it feels like his jaw is moving along with the rest, with his mouth. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to select the artwork and I'm going to hold down the Alt key. And when you hold down the Alt key, so normally it stretches evenly up at the top and the bottom and it goes off register. But if you hold down the Alt key, I can drag outward. And then now you'll see if I go back and forth, now his jaw is starting to move as he talks. And you can quickly make him look like he's got a jaw, which is kind of cool. Let's see, what are you guys talking about here? What? All the complaints of Superman. I missed that. Oh yeah. There's no eraser. You know why there's no eraser on those things is because that's patented by Wacom. You can't do that. Let's see. What are you guys all talking about? I'm missing. Everybody's having this conversation, and I'm missing it because I'm looking down drawing. I ought to have the little chat thing here, but what are you guys talking about? What's going on Saturday night? Is that Anna Jean? Is that you doing your stream? Why don't you tell everybody what you guys are talking about? Let's see. I think I heard Carbonate 100% wrong. But before... Yeah, that is the guy who explodes. Yeah. Actually, if you want to see it, I'll show you the film. You guys, anybody that's already seen it is probably going to be really bored with it. But I can show you the character if you would like to see it. Actually, the best place to find it is on YouTube. And the reason that that's the best place is because if you go to YouTube, then I will get a hit from it. So go watch it there. And I will give you the link. Carbon. Let's see, where is it? My channel. This is also where you can see the where you can see all of the previous Twitch broadcasts that I've done so far. This is episode 6, so they're all up there too. So this is Carbonate, if you want to watch that. Oh, I see. Okay, Anna Jean. Slight side. Oh, about Twitch Seattle meetup tonight. Oh, that's right. You live in Seattle, where it was nice and overcast last weekend. I remember that. Yeah, it's like 105 here today. Not a fan. And hi, Fly Phoenix. Nice to see you. Thank you for showing up on my stream. I appreciate it. Anyway, so that's where you can watch it if you want. I can show it to you in the in here. Let's see, where is it? Animation. I don't know where it is. I think. No, I think, yeah, I think this is the. Wait, is this it? I don't know which one it is. I think this is it. Yeah, this is it. So here's. Wait, is that it? I don't think this is it.
Greetings, ladies and gentle doodles. So
this is it, but it's not done. Anyway, that's Carbonate. Let me see if I can find the real one. Oh, I think that is actually it. Well, anyway, you can watch it if you go on here. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it, Fly Phoenix. Oh, and you would shrivel up, Hannah Jean. Yeah, it's not a reason to come to Los Angeles. It's so damn hot here. What is going on here? Why is that not working? There it is. All right, so I'm going to continue setting up this character's jaw. If you're just joining us, I am doing what is known as rigging a character in Animate. I almost said it, but I didn't. and we're working on the mouth now. And then I will show you guys what you do with that. So now I've got all of these mouth poses, see? And his jaw moves with it, and it makes him feel a little more alive, right? So, now I'll delete these empty panels here. And I'm going to, all right, so here, now I've got all of this stuff here. Now you go, all right, that's fantastic, Mike. What am I supposed to do with that? Well, you know what, first things first, let's also add in, I think I actually want his eyes to be just a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna increase that. And you say, well, how did you just do that, Mike Milo? Well, the way I just did that is I took the artwork that already existed and I just grabbed it and then I copied it, pasted it, and then I increased the size of it. And by doing that, it made the line thicker. So, all right, so now I'm going to set up an eye in Animate. And there's a lot of ways to do that. The way I do it is I will take this outline here and I will put it on its own layer. Actually, I'll just take the whites and I'm going to cut that out and I'm going to paste it below. And then I'm going to lock it. And the reason I do that is because I am then going to put another layer in here, which is going to be my, the pupil. So I'm going to select my circle tool or whatever, and you'll notice that this is duplicating over here because it's a duplicate symbol. And that's, again, one of the useful things about Animate, is that I can reuse symbols and you can actually see it in real time that that's what it's doing. So I got to put a highlight on his pupil there. There we go. You're moving to the UK, huh? Oof. I like that, but that's cold too. That's a little too rainy and cold for me. I like it to rain. I don't want it to rain all the time. All right, so now what I'm going to do, this is the pupil. I'm going to actually call it B pupil. But I have to spell that correctly. I guess I got my caps lock on. B pupil. Pupil. No, pupilly. I'm dyslexic, apparently. All right, so let's see now. I'm gonna add a blink to him. So I'm gonna select this empty area after this first keyframe here, and I'm gonna hit F6. By doing that, I'm duplicating the whole thing, and I am now going to draw over this outline here. If you notice, see, it's just the outline, and that's the layer I'm going to draw on, and I'm going to make myself I'm going to make myself, what am I trying to say? I'm going to give him the ability to blink by adding drawings to this. So I'm going to just start with it about here, and then I'm going to copy, and actually, you know what I should probably do is I should probably just duplicate this a couple of times. There. All right, so now I'll go back, I'll do this and this, and then I'll go to the next one, and I'll turn on my onion skin there, which is up here, which will allow me to see the previous drawing, and I can animate there that now it's starting to. Now it may look crazy to you, but it works. So this one, I don't need the pupil because that's going to be the completely closed eye. And now I've basically got my blink. So now I need to color this. And in order to do that, I need to go back out to the stage so that I can get the color of his skin. And yeah, that's right. It doesn't work like that. Definitely send this into Adobe. There it is. See, that works. So that's interesting. All right. Anyway. So now I'm going to go back inside here, and I like to make the eyelids just a little darker so that they stand out on the artwork. So I'm going to select that top one, select this one, and now this one. Oh, wait, whoops. What happened there? Oh, I see. I put that on the wrong layer. All right. There. Whoa. All right. There. All right, and then I'm going to make the lower lady even just a little darker. I don't know why. It's just a habit that I do, and I feel like it works a little better. So I'm going to do it because I can get away with it. All right, then I'm going to add just a little bit of, I feel like this could use just a tiny little bit of eyelash here. There. See? So if I add just a little bit of a line above and beyond this, that actually makes it almost look like he's got eyelids like this does here. Or it makes him look like he's got eyelashes without actually drawing all that stuff. So now, there you go. There's my basic eye. Now I can go in and I can animate all kinds of stuff with this now. I could have him, I could manipulate the pupil, and I could make the pupil move to the side. And you'll notice that the pupil actually is going behind it. If I change this, let's just say that I make this pupil blue, which I'm not really going to do. But if I did that, the reason that I have this overlay here is so that, what is going on? Stop it. The reason that I have this is because now the pupil goes behind this line, which makes it work a little bit better. If I put it above, that just doesn't work as well because now it's going outside the line and it breaks the believability that this is actually an eye. So that's why I do that. And I could put it up here, I could put it down here. And so as you need artwork, you can animate that stuff. One of the things that happens, though, if you're duplicating the character's eyes, is that you end up, if this eye is doing the same thing, then what's happening now is if I go out here, and I allow these different frames, you're going to notice, oh, actually it is working, right, because I didn't flop it. So there you go, look. So that's what he's doing now, and he's just moving. And the reason that he's animating here is because it's in the Properties tab. If I select this mouth, and I go to Properties, you'll see that I have a selection here called looping. Now, right now, mine is open. If you've never used this before, it will definitely look like this to start with. So you just click this little arrow, and then you'll see the choices. Right now, it's set to loop, which means that it's going to endlessly loop, frame by frame, blah, 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 blah. Actually, it's only going to do it once to start with because Animate, by default, actually only plays the timeline once. I want it to loop. So I'm going to go up to Control and say Loop Playback, and now it will endlessly loop. See? So you say, all right, well, what do I do with that, Mike? It's still a little weird in some places, but it basically works. So the thing is, in Animate, what you do is you select, oh, I just noticed this. You can see a little line there, almost. Oh, or is it this? No, you can kind of see it. So the way I'll fix that is to lower his skull a little bit more. Yeah, that works a lot better. And I still haven't done his eyebrows and whatnot. And his nose, too. But I'll get to that in a minute. Anyway, the point of this is that you select this mouth, you change it to single frame, and then you'll notice that there's this thing, and this is only in the newest version. What? Oh, you don't see the Properties tab? Oh, yeah, you don't, do you? All right, okay, hold on. I can fix that. Properties tab. All right, I'm gonna lower my. I'll put me over here for now. Actually, this might be a better place for that anyway, because I don't know. All right, so you can see it. All right, Properties tab. So there's the Properties tab over here. And you'll notice that I have trouble with it. There's just not enough screen real estate to make all this stuff work. But, oh, you know what I did last time that actually worked better? Maybe I'll do that. I'm going to, let me resize this so that you can see both. Let's just do this. There we go. See? This is what I did last time, and it worked nicely, but then when you restart the program, it doesn't remember that. All right. There. There we go. And now, let me, all right, come on. I hate when, there. All right, that should be a little better. You guys should be able to see it now. All right, so, or at least you should be able to see some of it. Oh, let me resize me. I'm not that good looking anyway. Oh, it doesn't work. I can make it that small. Why not? But then this doesn't work. I don't know. I'm just going to leave it like that. You guys can see what I'm talking about from this. All right, so now what we got going here, you can actually see it, right? So when you open it up and you've never used it before, this is how the beginning goes. You will see the Properties tool. You will see a color effect and a looping, and they will be minimized. And if you click on this little arrow, you will be presented with these options here. By default, all new symbols are set to loop. You don't want them to loop. You want them to be single frame. So every single one of them I change to single frame after the fact. Even the things that I don't think are going to animate. So I'm going to change his hair to single. I'm going to change his ear to single. I'm going to change his eyes to single. And the reason that I do that is so that if I want to manipulate this stuff later on and add a like let's say I left this on loop. And then for some reason, I wanted to add an ear, some other part of his ear. And I've used this throughout an entire film. And I manipulated his ear in some way for whatever reason, because maybe he's turning his head or whatever. So now it's going to do this. And your entire film is going to do this. And so you want to turn all of your symbols to single frame. That works much better. So, all that said, now I've got this character, and he's just standing there, and there's nothing on him. But what you do with this now is I can lip sync him and change his expression on the fly, and that's the power of using Animate's symbol functions. So, let's say, for instance, I need some audio in order to pull this off. How do I don't know where to, let me just look for some here. I know where I can find some. Let's see. I probably shouldn't be showing this stuff here. Here. I can, I should have probably had this, but I didn't. So I'm just going to grab a bit of audio. If I could find some audio. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen, for a second here while I find some audio. This is not what I want. And I see somebody asked a question. Give me a second and I'll answer that. Here we go. Audio. Perfect. This is what I want. All right. Oh, I think because I just wanted to open it. So I'm gonna. All right, I'm gonna import to library, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of audio. I was trying to open the audio. That's what wasn't working correctly. So sorry, bear with me for a second, but now you get to see how you'd import audio. And it's a good thing that I didn't keep this on the screen, because one of the things I did was curse. And of course we don't want that, because that's bad. You should never curse, ladies and gentlemen. That's a bad thing. All right, so I'm going to import this. All right, so now I should have a bit of audio in here. I'm going to create a layer. This isn't his voice. This is just character. So I'm going to import this, and you should be able to hear that. I need my headphones now for this. All right, so what was somebody... Is there a way for... Is there... No, there is no way to do that, to mass do it. There is... You can select everything and go over here and turn it down, and turn it to single frame, but it doesn't always work, honestly. Yeah, it used to be the default behavior, Rasta Muffin. It used to be the default behavior, and for whatever reason, the programmers that make Animate decided that it should be looping instead. And I think the reason that they did that was so that you could you would know that it would loop. Because if it's single, you'll never know that, and you'll never go, wait, how do I turn that off? And then you realize and discover that that's what it's capable of doing. So I believe that's why they chose to make that way. Anyway, so, all right, now I've got this guy. Let's hear a little bit of this audio. Can you guys hear that? You should be able to, I believe. I don't think I can, though. What's going on here? Is that... Should be able to hear it. Can you guys hear that? Because I could turn it up. It looks like it's probably a little too low. Turn that up. Alright, so here's the audio.
Yo, I got a killer right there. Who's got the crumbs to go? Yo, I got a killer right there.
Yeah, it's crappy audio, but it'll demonstrate my purposes. So what you do here with Animate, if you're going to lip sync, is you select this, you make sure this is on single frame. The newest version of Animate has created a thing called the frame picker, which is okay. And what it'll do is it will show you all of the different frames here. I don't want it to be there though. Although actually that's kind of cool. Wait, stop it. No. Bad Animate. Bad Animate. I don't want you there. Why would you do that to me? I'm going to close you. Alright, so now if I grab it again, is it... Yeah, it's still there. Why won't it let me... You don't want that. Alright, well how about this? Why... Everything's locked. I guess... Oh, that must be what it is. Is it locked? Unlock. That's my problem. There it is. So, alright, let's leave it there. But what that basically lets you do... okay, good. You do hear it. Excellent. Thank you. So you'll notice that this shows me a preview of all of my actual symbols, which is great. It's not really where I want it because then I can't see my timeline. Anyway, the frame picker is cool, but the one thing that it doesn't do is it does not create a keyframe for you every frame. So when you're scrubbing back and forth. So what I use is something called Keyframe Caddy. And you can get this, you can get it on the Adobe store. I don't know, it's like $10 or something. Anyway, so what I'll do is I will select load thumbnails, and it will show me a preview of all these drawings. inside this symbol. Again, remember we went through this and we created all these little symbols. Well, now it's showing me a preview of all these things. So I'm going to go through this and I'm going to scrub. Hey, Samantha Hard Art, thank you for showing up. How you doing? Thank you so much for tuning in to my Saturday stream. All right, so here's the character. We're going to just lip sync this character. So he starts to go like, yee, yee. And so, oh, you know what I forgot? I forgot one here. All right. And that's another reason why you would create a symbol, because now I can go into here and I can add a another one. I need like the teeth mouth, right? So here, let me add this real quick. Oh, well, good. Thank you for showing up, Samantha. I appreciate it. And you know what? I'm animating. I'm rigging a character here today. So if you're just joining us, that's what I'm working on now. I'm animating a character. I'm sorry. I'm rigging a character in Animate, which is kind of different than anything I've done on this channel so far. And we're setting up the assets in order to animate a character, just demonstrating how that works. But this character I need for a film that I'm doing anyway, so this works to my advantage. This is Carbonate's brother, if you're wondering who he is, and I think you've seen enough of my streams to know who Carbonate is, but he's he has a little surrogate brother, and this is him. His name is Boudreaux. So, all right, so I'm just adding this T-mouth to, and I need to quickly color it. What did I do? Oh, it's because this is unlocked. I need to very quickly do this. Whoops. Color the teeth. One of the things I love about the Cintiq is that it has buttons on the sides, and I use the buttons. I map the buttons to certain functions. Oh, you know what? And I just remembered somewhere along the line a while ago, somebody asked me what I thought of the Intuos. I know that you did, and I'm sorry, I forgot to answer that question. So I will answer it now, and forgive me, I don't remember who asked it, but the Intuos is actually really cool in a lot of ways for people, because it's a cheap way to draw on the screen, and I really like it for that reason. The thing I don't like about it is that I'm drawing down here and I'm looking up there, and I just don't possess the talent to do that. So I do not use an Intuos, but a lot of people swear by them, and a lot of people can use them. And if you can set your ability up, and if you can actually pull that off, then you should absolutely get one of those, because it's a great tool for it's a great cheat tool to be able to draw with. Alright, so there. Alright, so now I got the teeth, mouth. This is what I wanted. Alright, so I'm gonna go back over this again. So he's going, yo! So, and I need to select this, load the thumbnails again, increase them in size. So now I'm gonna click this, and see, now it's gonna change. Then he's gonna open his mouth just a little bit. And I feel like before I even go any further, I feel like he could probably use one more larger mouth too. Now, again, this isn't his voice. This is from another film that I was doing. It's actually from a storyboarding class that I teach on Monday nights here in Los Angeles. But anyway, I didn't have any other audio, so this will serve Actually, this character doesn't actually have a voice yet. I think I'm gonna have my daughter do the voice for him because she's very good at voices. And my voice is too harsh and too old to pretend that I might be able to do the voice of a 12-year-old boy. It's just not gonna happen for me. So anyway, but because I didn't have this set up yet, and I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to animate him yet. I don't have his actual voice, so we're using this one voice. Oh, and you know what? That's the wrong mouth color. Where is it? Is it? I think it's this one. Yeah. There. All right. So now I need to also increase his mouth for this. And actually, I'm going to shrink his mouth line up here just a little bit. Because as I pull on it, it's getting just a little too big. Let's see if I can pull this off. I'm going to add an anchor point here. Whoops. I was. Okay, that's not working. Alright, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to leave it exactly the way it is. I don't care. It's fine. Alright, so now he's got a little bit of a bigger mouth. Let's see. Samantha Hart, you're going to install a dishwasher, huh? Oh boy. Well, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting. Oh, and I look up here and see Fuzzwa. It takes some getting used to. I assume you're talking about the Intuos. Yeah, I'm sure it takes some time to get used to. I was working at a studio, and that's what they gave me to start with, and I physically couldn't do the work that way. All right. So I'm gonna add that larger mouth that I just did. And then I'm gonna add this and this. So he's going. And then I'm gonna add the closed mouth. I think I will slide this down a little bit, and I think instead I will use. Oh, what's going on here? I think his. Yeah. His hair. He's bald now, just like me. Alright, I need to redo that. Because I don't want the hair to be on the same layer as that. Alright, so I'm going to delete that. I'm going to put it on its own layer. And then you know what? One of the cool things about anime, you see that right now they're all just layers. But they're all named something. So if I select them all here and right click and say distribute to layers, it will take them off of the layers that they were on. And as long as that anything was named, now you'll see that they're all named there as well. I don't know which one this one is. What is this? Nothing. So let's just get rid of it. All right, so now I've got everything on the timeline, all the layers. I'm going to go back and I'm going to lip sync him again. Although I swear I really would like to have some eyebrows and a nose on there because he looks weird. So you're going to have to bear with me again. You got me for another hour and a half, I imagine. I'm not going to take up too much time adding an eyebrow. So let's just finish the character's face. There. And I'm going to call that, oops, hit the wrong one. I'm going to call that B brow. Nope, I'm going to call it B brow, not borrow. Did I spell that right? I don't know what's wrong with me. I think it's because I'm talking while I'm doing this. And I am going to duplicate this and put another one here. And then I'm going to slide this one over so that it's the same. And then I'm going to select them both, and I'm going to distribute to layers so that now they both have a name. So, you'll be there around fish, huh, Anna Jean? Maybe they're fishish. All right, I need to, while I'm doing this, I might as well add a nose. So let's just add a nose to the character really quick. And I'm actually going to, is that going to work? No, it's not. Of course it's not going to work. Where did that artwork go? I don't know. I did something to it. All right. Oh, that must have been what I deleted. Maybe that was that was the layer that I deleted. Oh, well, whatever. All right, so I'm going to go back again like we were doing before. And I need to fill in this empty spot right here. So I'm going to go to my brush tool. I'm going to go down to paint behind, and I'm going to create a line here for his nose, and then I'm going to fill it in. Oh, no, I'm not going to do that. Oh, that's why. I am going to do it, but I got to do it on the right layer. All right, so there. And then I'm going to fill this in, and now he's got a nose in color. And you say, well, why would you want to do that if it's going to be on the face anyway in color? Well, the reason is because you never know what you might use it for. And you might want it to be in color because maybe something happens to his face and he, you're gonna, you know, maybe he gets embarrassed or something like that, and so you need to have that piece be there. And if he gets red, and that you still want the nose to be a certain color. Anyway, all right, so B nose. All right, so now, all right, I'll distribute to the layer, and now we got the nose. All right, so all the characters. Now I just need to put the nose where it goes. And actually, I think that yeah, this is fine. Barely going to use that. All right. There. So now our entire character is here. And yes, I am Fly Phoenix. I am posting them on YouTube. There you go. Thank you, Anna Jean. Yep, this is episode 6 so far. And I will keep doing this until Adobe tells me I can't, because I enjoy doing it. I'm going to move this hair layer below the ear layer so that, because it was like this, and that's kind of weird, so I want it above. All right, so now we can go back and lip sync this. So I'm going to need to select this, the mouth clip, and I'm going to go back to yo. And I feel like he could probably hold that. Yeah. Yo. Let's see, do I want this one? That mouth doesn't work so well. All right, so here, we'll make this a little smaller. There. All right, so that worked. And I think I'll gonna go with what I had before. And then I'll go back to the closed mouth. Oh, thank you for subscribing then. Did I do drinking and drawing last week? Yes, I do. It's on my own stream. That's why. You can see down below here. Go to Twitch at MiloWorks, and you can see the drinking and drawing one. I don't even remember what I did last week. What did I do? Let's see. Oh, I did something called Drunk Rudolph. I didn't really get very far, but it's just a character, and he's drinking because I was drinking, so I thought I would animate a character drinking. So this is as far as I got, I think. And then I'll continue that next time I do the drinking and drawing thing. I think I was... Yeah, that's kind of where I ended up. So now I was in between this and this. And then he was going to pull himself back and just stand there. Thank you. I had fun with that as well. I'll definitely do it again. The drinking and drawing thing. I just... my wife likes it, but, you know, she likes to go out too, so... So we'll probably do it again someday, but probably not for a while. I don't know. We'll see. Alright, so there. So anyway, this is demonstrating the whole purpose of it, of why you use Animate, because of the symbols. Now, as I said, see, the ability to take this little bit of artwork and then call to it on the main stage and tell Animate what frame I want to view. If you look at the whole thing as like a viewer, I can, if I create a keyframe, I can tell Animate what frame I want to display, and you could do that with everything. I mean, right now I've only done it with the head, but you could do that with the hands and the feet and the body and whatever parts you want, and it allows you to control all the aspects of it. And then here's the other thing, is that so now I've done this. I've done this already, and hold on, I want it to be like that. So what you would do here is, now I've got this character, and I've got just the head. But what ends up happening is that if let's say I want him to rotate his head and go up and down. Is Adobe Animate my preferred animation program? Yes, it is my preferred animation program. I absolutely like it the best. It's for all the reasons that I'm outlining right now. But there are other programs, and they're good, but I think that Animate gives you more power than the other programs in a lot of ways. Plus, I'm more familiar with it. But so anyway, so what I was getting at here is, so now I've got all of these assets. I actually don't need this mouth here, so I'm going to actually clear the keyframes, and I'm going to get rid of this audio because I don't really want that for him. I'm just rigging this character. So now I am going to take all of these assets, and I'm going to right click. I'm going to select them all, because what I want to do is I want to set it all up so that all of this artwork is inside its own symbol, inside a head symbol. So I'm going to select all of this stuff, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to cut frames, and essentially that's taking it off the timeline, the main scene. And I'm going to go to Insert New Symbol, and I'm going to say B Head. Make sure it's a graphic, and then I've got an empty symbol here, and I'm going to paste all this artwork into here. I'm going to paste the frames in. Now I've got, if I go to my library, can you guys see my library? Yes, you can. You'll see the inside there. I have his symbol. Here it is. This is his symbol. This is his head. So if I drag this out onto the timeline, I've got his head as its own symbol now. And if I had left the animation or the lip sync in there, which probably I should do that just to demonstrate what I'm talking about. Let's let's do that. Can I do that? What are you doing? Why are you not undoing clear? Oh, well. There it is. All right. All right. So let me take all of this so that I can demonstrate what I'm trying to get at and why you would do this. All right. So now I'm going to cut all these frames off of the main timeline like we did before. I'm going to insert a new symbol. I'm going to call this B head and paste that artwork into there again. So now here it is. All right. So now he's inside his own symbol. So now I'm going to bring that back out onto the stage, and I'm going to distribute to layers so that it's called B head. And I can get rid of all these. And now I've got just the head on here. And the reason that you do this is if I bring in this properties, bring back in the audio again, he's still doing what we animated him doing. But now, if I want to move his head, I can manipulate his head too, because I can squash and stretch this. I can rotate it. I can do whatever I want with it on the timeline. And it'll still animate. And then I've got all of these symbols inside here. And I can animate the whole head, all the expressions on the head. And then I can come back and start animating the body on its own layers. And that's how you rig a character. So, because we had talked about that I need to rig the rest of this character, let's go back now, and I'm going to start rigging the rest of him. I'm going to lock his head. It's 1:46. I've got an hour and 15 minutes left. If you're enjoying this and you're just showing up and you haven't watched me before, please go to my @MiloWorks Twitch account and sign up, and or whatever you call it, and then you can be alerted when I go live, because I do my own streams as well, but not often enough probably for everybody. All right, so here we go. So now I'm just going to go through, I'm going to start drawing this character's body, the rest of this body. First thing I need, really, I can actually get rid of the head for a moment, and let's draw the neck. All right, and so, all right, so here's his neck. Here's F8, and I'm going to say B neck. Then I'm going to create another one, and I'm going to make this his torso. Okay. There. All right, so I've got, you guys are so quiet today. Usually everybody's chatting and talking and stuff. I feel like I'm alone. Talk about things, so I feel like you're here. Otherwise, I'm just alone in the world. All right, so I'm gonna call this B torso. And then now above that, I'm going to create his bicep. And we'll do that by just creating a little his little shoulder there, and then he's got long sleeves. So what I'm going to do is I need to add a little bit of the bottom of his sleeve there, and we'll call that, I'll color all this in afterwards. We'll call this B bicep. Okay, and then now I'm going to go and I'm going to create his forearm. And so, and you'll notice that this stuff all overlaps and whatnot, and it's not perfect, but we can fix that later. Right now I'm just building the assets that are important to every animation that I'm probably going to use. Oh, all right. That's true. Let's see. What? Oh, okay. AC dropping. Yes, I animate. Yes, that's what I'm doing here. And I understand you guys are all working on your own stuff. That's cool. It's fine. A slow chat is usually a good thing. It means we're so intrigued by what you're doing that we're just staring at you working. That's cool. Well, cool. I just wanted to make sure that you guys were all here. Good. Happy that you're watching. All right, so now now that I've got the forearm, I need to add a little bit of the wrist here so that I can rotate the hand on it. So his arms are getting a little monkey, so I can just shrink this a little bit there. And there we go. So now, so I've got all that. Now, all right, now I need to do his forearm. So let's do BF arm. We'll just call it that. All right. Now, one of the important things, I mean, obviously I've got to go in and I've got to color it. So let's do that. Wait, come on. What are you doing to me? And I do have that graphic. I think I need to bring that back onto the stage again, because I need to know what colors he is. So where's that library? Carbonate color. Oh, no, not carbonate. Boudreaux color. There. Because I need to figure out what color his shirt is. So let's... Here's his torso. Color that in. Go in here. Color that in. Now I need to get the color for his undershirt there. Let's fill that in. Fill that in. And let's get his skin color. And his neck is a little weird. I'm going to smooth it ever so slightly. And I think I'm actually going to flip it. Yeah, because see, now it looks like it's facing that way. That works a little bit better. Okay. So, how do I come up with my characters? Oh, and I just saw your comment too, Silvio. I'll answer that in a second. How do I come up with my characters? I don't know. I usually come up with what a character looks like first, or who he is and why I care about him, and then I usually will start to design them. I don't really have a style so much. This has been my style for the last couple of years, but it's really only my style because of something that I was working on, and that was the style that they wanted, and so I've just kind of gravitated towards drawing this way for my own personal things. But I don't really have it depends on what I need and what needs to be done for the project. I like this cartoony style with these big eyes and these big goofy teeth, so I've been using that for this. But you know, my original thing, I came in, I started in the business animating for Warner Brothers on various cartoons for television for them. So I learned how to draw the typical Warner Brothers style. And so anyway, that's not really your question. Your question was, how do I come up with my characters? I usually think about what the character is first and what I want them and what's important about them, and then I design them from there. It's usually I don't usually take a lot of time to design characters. I don't spend hours figuring it out. Like, this was what this character looked like the first time I drew it. I don't know. It's just kind of how I draw. Anyway, so all right. So now I've got these arms here, and I've got this torso. And one of the important things about Animate is that if I click on it, you'll notice that there's this little white button in the center of this symbol. That's your pivot point. Right now, it's going to pivot from the center. I don't want that because I want him to pivot from the shoulder, right? So that now he'll pivot like this. So I'm going to move all of the pivot points where I want them. Now on the torso, I usually make the torso pivot from the bottom so that if I want him to squash, I can. And I'll also pivot the neck from the bottom of the neck. So Silvio, I love Asterix and Obelix. I love the comics, and I really like the animation as well. I haven't seen much of it because it's hard to get here in the States, but what I've seen I really like. I particularly love how those guys draw hands. They just, which I'm going to get to in a minute, drawing hands. But I just love how their hands are just so neat looking. You know, and they've got like the little nails on them. And usually there's like a little line or something, and I don't know, they're very good at drawing hands, and I really appreciate that, because in animation, the hands, you know, they say the windows are the eyes to the soul, and I would say that that's absolutely true. When you're looking at a character, you definitely are gonna look at their eyes first, but the second thing you do is look at their hands, and I think that that's important as well. So if the eyes are the window to the soul, I would say that the hands are the doorway. So anyway, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I got rid of that little outline there, so that now if I rotate this character's arms, you can kind of start to see where that's going to go. And yes, this still doesn't work right, and so after you animate the character, what you will typically do is put another layer above it and patch things to fix the stuff that doesn't work. And I'll get into that later, but let's continue with this. I'm actually gonna, and this is one of the reasons why you would make the shoulder be its own symbol, because I have this one here where I have it set up to for this, and why you would also make them be single frame. But so I've got this one here for his arm down, but if I want to, let's say I want him to reach outward like this pose is doing here, well, if I do that, that looks weird. So I will add another pose here where his arm works the way I want it to work. So that his arm is more straight like this. And then I can tell it to do that, to use this frame on any given layer if I want, just like we showed, just like I was showing you with the mouths. And again, that's one of the powers of using Animate. It's the #1 reason why you use Animate, because you can manipulate symbols frame by frame. And so really what you do is you go along and you animate, and then if you need another pose, then you go inside that symbol, add that pose that you need, and then go back and expose it on the timeline so that it can be now used. Just like you saw, if anybody was watching and paying attention there, it's exactly what I did when I did the lip sync. I realized that I didn't have a mouth with just teeth, so I went back inside the symbol itself and I added the teeth. And then I went back out and I used it in the timeline, which I think is invaluable. Let's see. Let me just darken this, and then I just saw somebody had a question. So let me see. All right. So anyway, I think you get the idea why you would use this, or how you could use it. I'll go into it more. Let's see. Let's see. Do I write down? All right. Wait. Do I write down the story of your characters' age, dislikes? Yeah, absolutely, I do. A lot of it has to do with what I need to what's happening. I mean, I know that this boy, I've set it up so that this boy is probably about 12. Why is he 12? Well, because because I would like to put this on television, and the standard age range for kids watching the prime area is from 7 to 11. That's who watches television. So an 11-year-old thinks a 12-year-old is cool. So if I make him 12, then they're going to look up to this kid. So that's why I do that. I do write down all that stuff. Bat Monkey, you're back. Cool, man. Excellent. Let's see what else. Do I think about the characters as 3D or 2D? Did I do realistic drawing for anatomy? I definitely have done that in the past. I don't think that you can caricature the human body until you understand how the muscles fit together and everything. And I think that's really important if you're starting out, actually. But I don't really draw realistically that much. I mean, the most I draw realistically is like that, which isn't at all realistic. And I'm glad it's not realistic, because that would be scary if you saw that on the street. Anyway, I should probably save this. Do I think about the characters as 3D or 2D? No, I just I think of them in a 3D space, because if I want, let's say for instance, I want to add yet another pose here, and he's reaching towards the camera, I have to remember that his shoulder, as he's coming towards us, I have to have that foreshortening to make that work. So I do think about things in a 3D space, absolutely, but 3D is an entirely different animal. It's interesting, I've been actually, this client hired me to animate a 3D commercial for him. So I've been spending a lot of time working in a program called Maya, if any of you are familiar with that. And that's its own thing. It's interesting. Now, look at this, see? You notice that by default, because I've added symbols into this, it's doing this. I'm going to turn off. You can actually mute sounds in Animate if you don't want to hear this. So it's doing this. Well, I don't want it to do that. I want it to be a single frame. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to go back to my properties, and I'm going to turn it to single frame so that it will stop flopping around like that. But as I go through this thing, I need to make sure that every one of these is on single frame. Otherwise, if I add a drawing, it defeats the whole purpose. Especially if I've gone through, I've animated, say you've animated a good minute of him drawing, and then you realize he needs to bend forward, so, and you've only got one drawing of him here, and then you say, all right, well, now he needs to bend forward. I'm going to add this. And then you go back out to the timeline, and you have not put your, you have not made your timeline be single frame. He's going to pop every frame, and I'll show you exactly what I mean in a second there. See, so now we're starting to get, and there's something else I got to do to fix that. But see, right now it's single frame, so you don't see that until I tell you that I want you to see it. So if I click and I create a keyframe, and now I do that, well, now he's going to bend forward. And you can animate that if you want. I could go back in here and I could put a keyframe between this and between this, and I could animate this so that he bends forward, and then I can invoke it when I want it to be there. And I can leave that there. But if I have been remiss and set this to loop and then haven't paid attention to it because it was only one frame, that's what it's going to do on your in every part of your timeline until you change it, and then you have to go back in and manually change it to single frame each time, which is a giant pain in the ass. Anyway, you won the soccer game. Fantastic, Bat Monkey, and that's because you're the coach, right? So you're teaching them how to win. That's excellent. Good deal, man. That's cool that you could do that. So now, anyway, you see that that's why that's important. This made me just realize that I should probably go back in here and in his torso add like a little bit of an area. Whoop, I'm drawing behind. And now select that. Oh, that's right, you can't. Gotta fix that, Adobe. Gotta fix that. Makes me work a lot harder. Alright. I'm gonna go back into here. I'm gonna add that. And then, because I'm gonna need here. Let me grab this. There. Alright, so now I can go back to the neck and I can just chop this bottom part off. Well, not all of it, but some of it. And then I'll add this and let it sort of taper. And there. See, so now he's starting to look like he's rigged there. It did make him look pregnant, actually. All right, so let's continue. So now I need to add another layer here because while his legs go up under his shirt, you really don't want that to be there all on its own. So I'm going to add like a little pelvis-y sort of thing here. And I can hide it underneath if I don't need it, but I really kind of feel like you need to have that at least. So let's grab his color here. And there. All right, so now this is going to be his hips. B hips. And if you're just joining us, I hit F8 to do that. I will select the artwork, hit F8, and then now I can turn that into a symbol for all the reasons that I've been showing you. So now I'm going to create a leg, and I'm only going to do one leg, and then I'm going to duplicate the leg so that I have both. Let's see. I need to get rid of his forearm there so that I can see where his leg's going to go. So I'm going to create a... Oh, and I forgot a very important part of this. Hold on. Alright, well, I'll do it in a second. I gotta get this just right, though. No, and I don't want it to be too small. There. Alright, there's his... what do you call that thing? That thing there. His thigh, right? So, let me... Whoops. Didn't I grab the right color? Oh, that's right. It won't use it. Damn it. It makes me so angry. And if you don't know why I'm angry, it's because the eyedropper tool does not work correctly in this program, in this latest version. There's something wrong with it, and we've been all trying to narrow down what's wrong with it. The Adobe team, and you know, it's hard to do sometimes to find exactly what's wrong with it, because it could be my system, could be Apple, it could be, you know, OS 10 or whatever. It could be a lot of different things, so it's hard to pinpoint that. Anyway, they'll get it. So all right, so this is going to be B thigh. And let's see. All right, I'm going to make sure that I change his pivot there. Now let's go, and I'm going to, and I'm not worried about naming these things yet, because I'll select them all and I'll distribute to layers, and they'll all the names will show up afterwards, because it doesn't matter. All right, so now let's get the his what do you call that? Oh, and of course I can't access that. I think I can do it if I go inside it. So the problem is literally that it will not select a color if the color is inside a symbol. That's exactly what the problem is. And actually, this is great because now I can go to the Adobe guys and show them right here. This is exactly what's going on. This is how, I don't know how you fix it, but this is what's going on. That's fantastic news, actually, in a lot of ways. And I think what I just did there is I put a whole bunch of... No, I didn't. Okay. All right. So there's his other... His calf. It's a little thick there. Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Sylvia. Yep. I think that's pretty accurate, honestly. You know, I mean, everybody always talks about that. I don't know who said the eyes are the windows to the soul, but it seems like it was probably Shakespeare, because he seems to say everything that's cool. But I definitely make use of that, because when you're animating, really the hands are what you pay attention to mostly. Alright, so the one thing that I forgot to add here that's kind of an important part of both the forearm and the bicep is a knee. So like a knee and an elbow. Because what you can do, first things first, let's be calf. I will create a little swatch here. It's basically just color, and put it over the area, and it helps to hide the seams and stuff. And you can add, if I add that, I can add it so that it customizes it and works in certain areas for certain purposes. So let's do B knee. And it's not perfect for here, but I can make it perfect for this scenario right here. And then if I need to change it, because I will go back and make sure that this is on single frame, I can then change that when I want it to look different. It's very useful. All right. There we go. All right. It's still not perfect there, but it's mostly because of this stuff here. Because this is all hidden, it doesn't really matter what it looks like. And now that I've got that knee in place, I can do basically the same thing as I was doing with that one and manipulate it how I want it to look for this pose. And then if I want it to change, I can change the pose and add another piece of artwork, like if his knee is bent or something like that. The hands in the doorway to sin. Depends on what you do with them, doesn't it, Fuzzwaz? Let's see, I got 45 minutes left. And I think probably because every other week so far, Stevie Ray Draws is next, so you probably want to stick around for that because I really like her artwork. And if you like to watch people draw, she's a good one to do it. So many of the people on this Adobe stream are talented in ways that I'm not. So I really appreciate watching them and what they do. Alright, just messing with this here. Alright, but that basically works. Alright, so now I've got one leg. I only need one leg. Now, here comes one little issue. I need to also... The way I've set this up is that he has those little... oh, Sid Weiler today. Oh, alright. Sorry. I'm wrong. It's a Saturday night. You're bad. Fuzz. Yes, Sid Weiler. Yes, I've seen their work actually. Very cool stuff. So now I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. I guess what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to, oh boy, I'll tell you what, I can tell that it's 105 here. It's suddenly getting very hot down in my office. And I'm starting to sweat, and I don't really like that. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to give him a little area for like socks or something. This is his socks. And then I will add his shoes below that. Let's see. And because I drew this character, I can do whatever I want with what they look like. And so I'm going to give him a little more dimension. And I'm not even going to bother with what color they are. They're just gray. Alright, so now let me add this. And let's do this B shoe. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of this stuff. And I'm going to right click on it. And I'm going to go to distribute to layers. And it's going to distribute everything and put all of the names where they are. And then it's going to leave empty layers for stuff that I took off by distributing to layers. It's going to delete that artwork off of that layer and put it on another layer. And now that I've got it all worked out, now it's in perfect. Now everything is named correctly. Sometimes you end up with like residual stuff. Although I think maybe, yeah, I don't know what that is. I think that's this. So I should probably keep that there. All right, so now we've got all this artwork here. Now what I need to do is I need to select these. Let's see, how do I do this? I'm going to select all this stuff. Hold on, let's do this. I'm going to select the torso, select the hips, select the neck. And then I'm going to grab all of this stuff. And I don't know how you do it normally, but on my system, I use a Mac, but I have a Hackintosh, so it allows me to use both Mac and PC. So I remap my custom or my keyboard so that Command is Control, so that it's easier for me to control the system. But I think if you hold down Command and Alt or Control and Alt and drag, it will duplicate everything that you have selected. And see, it just did that. And so now I've got all of this other stuff. So now I've just got to really figure out, well, where does all this stuff go? I need this bicep and this to go beneath this, the torso. So here, let's select that and put it beneath there. All right? And then put the bicep beneath that one too. Wait, did I select the wrong one? Yeah, I did. I want this one. What is it? Oh, they're all on the same. Distribute to layers. There. Now, if I put these two beneath here and flop them. There. Now this one, they need to go beneath the two. They need to go actually lower because they need to go behind the leg too. So now let me grab this, this, and this, distribute to layers. And now I've got these three, and these will actually go completely in the back. And this actually needs to go behind that. There. Alright, so now we're starting to get a character. This needs to be in front of the bicep. Let's see, where's the other forearm? Where is that forearm? This one. Oh, it needs to be in front of, so where's this bicep? Let's put this bicep down behind here. Alright, there we go. Alright. Let's see. and Sid, she animates in Photoshop. Oh, that's cool. I might have to tune into that. I'm not familiar with doing that much. Let's see. Yeah, come to the Midwest. I know it's warm. Yeah, I know what it's like there. I'm from Jersey. I remember the heat there. But whatever. Your darkness is darker than mine. That's fine with me. But it's still freaking hot here. Alright, so now they got that, and I think I need to distribute this to its own layer too, because it needs to be down here. There. Alright, so we've basically got a character, except for the hands now. So I'm going to go back, and the hands are a different scenario, because really, the way that you figure this stuff out is to draw hands and what you think you might need in the film. So all I'm really going to do here is I usually make the hands be the top layer. I'm just going to go and I'm going to draw your basic hand down here. Right? And in this case, you can't duplicate that stuff. Yeah. Yeah, it's 105 today, I believe. It's hot. I don't like it. I mean, I like the heat, but it's hot. I don't know what the temperature is. All right, so you guys don't care what my temperature is. You guys want me to do this, so this is what I'm gonna do. I feel like his arms are still too long, because once I add the hand there, the hands usually go to almost your knee, so that's about right where it's got to go. Alright, so let's do, let's just draw your basic hand here. Yeah, that's a terrible hand. You know what, I'm not even going to draw it in the area. I'm going to draw it in red first, too. Then I'll clean it up. Alright. Now, that's about the right basic default position. Alright, good. Now I'll go and I'll call this hand. Or I'll call this foreground hand, because the other hand is going to have a different view. So you have to have your own, the hands have to be their own poses. Actually, no, that's not even true. I could add all of them into one symbol, and that's probably what I will do. But anyway, here's my default hand pose. And then I'll really just draw a bunch of hands. And like I was saying, you can add more as you go along. I don't need this anymore. Well, I probably do, because let's just go and let's just add some hands. I'm just gonna draw a whole bunch of hand poses, shall we? Let's see. Here's if he's gesturing. Yeah, that's a terrible drawing. Let's do there, that's much better. I always put like the pinky up just a little bit. Let's do another one. Let's do his finger up and pointing. Let's do jazz hands. All right, jazz hands. Let's do jazz hands. I don't think he's going to use jazz hands, but you never know. It's entirely possible. He might say, stop. All right, let's see. Let's do like he's doing that, jerking his thumb back, because I tend to use that pose a lot when people talk. You know, that looking like, hey, I'm talking to this guy over here. My hand's a little big. 22 here in the UK. What is, I can never remember that. What is it? It's like double, right? So it's probably 50 degrees there, Paul? That's what I would think. 63 perfect weather. Oh, stop bragging, Anna Jean. You're always bragging about how awesome your weather is. And we gotta live in heat. I'm just teasing, by the way. Brag away. I do like Seattle. Well, what time is it? I got a half hour left. I'm starting to get hungry now. That's how I know that I've got a half hour left. Yeah, that hand is crap. Yeah. I don't like that one much either. All right. That's the best one so far. Yeah, that works for now. Mike needs coffee. No, Mike doesn't need coffee. Mike needs something to eat. I don't drink coffee. When I was a teenager, my dad was a chef. One of the things that he would have me do when I would come visit, we owned what's called concessions. So it was like what's the word I'm looking for? It was like a high-end cafeterias, and so like we had the cafeteria at a lot of different places around the tri-state area back in Jersey. So we had like Lipton, and so we Lipton and Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and a lot of places. ADP, Simon and Schuster. We used to make the stuff for them, the food for them. And anyway, that was my dad's company. And so he used to always make me clean the giant urns, those big urns that they use to brew coffee on a massive scale. And I'd have to like get inside there and clean them. And I hated that. And it would just stink of coffee. as I was like inside there cleaning them. And I hated that, so I never got to like coffee. Let's see. And we've got lots of that here. Oh, yeah. Okay, now I see where you're going with that. And it's a lot better than Starbucks. But hey, didn't Starbucks actually start up there? Didn't they start in Seattle? Coffee and tea in London. That sounds good. We love London, yeah. Yeah, England's pretty cool, actually. It's a nice place. What are my poses? I don't know what else I'm doing. I'm just drawing. Oh, and I'm making... You notice the hands are getting smaller and smaller as I go. Alright, so we have to make the hands a little bigger. That one started again. It was the jazz hands that did it. Let's make this a little bigger. Make this one a little bigger. Make this one a little bigger. Alright. I don't know whether or not I'll need this one. But I will add it anyway. Oh, you know another one. Oh, yeah. Actually, I need this one. For the other hand. For the default pose for the hand. There. Oh, really? Starbucks is more popular outside of Seattle. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me, actually. Yeah, it's very popular here in Los Angeles. But again, I don't drink it, so... I do like they have this one thing that I like, which is really just a vanilla milkshake. It's like a I don't know, some kind of frappe or frappy or latte or whatever, and it's just like vanilla milk and stuff. I like that. It's just like sugar and like a milkshake is really what it is. Those are good. I like that. You get a lot of people saying, hey, let's go get coffee. And I'm like, I don't drink coffee. But then I discovered that I could drink that. And so now I'll go get coffee. All right, so now that I've done that, I need to clean these up. And we're getting there. I got, what, a half an hour left. Getting there. But I pretty much, I'll have this character rigged by the time we close. And then maybe next week, if I can get the lip sync that the audio that I want by then, maybe I will have some I can animate the sequence that I need, and you can see it in motion. Well, I do feel like I need some music, but my problem is that I don't like any public domain music that exists. I don't like it. I found some like trance sort of stuff, and that was all right. But I mean, I like music. I like, I'm older than probably a lot of you guys out there. But I like, classic rock, and I like alternative rock, and I like, even the modern stuff that's on now, but you can't use any of that stuff. You use that stuff and they'll just delete you talking. And, well, I don't want that, because that defeats the whole purpose of me talking the entire time. I might as well just not talk then and save my voice. But, I don't know. I haven't really solved that issue yet. Because I would totally be playing music right now. If I could. I don't know how. Before me, Cody Bear does, I think it's Cody Bear, yeah. She has some jazz on, and I don't know where she found public domain jazz, but that's kind of cool. It's very jazzy for the jazz hands. Yeah, it mutes back into playback. That's exactly what I mean, and I don't like that. I earned a living. I don't get it, but you guys are all watching it. You guys get it. I'm sure it was funny. Let's see. Taka Senpai, he can hook you up with some good stuff, huh? Okay. I'm not sure how I go about that. How do I talk with him? Anyway. I have enough trouble figuring out how to get my audio working, never mind adding music on top of it, so it's probably all for the best that I don't have music going. Especially if you guys... Everybody has such different tastes in music, you probably don't want to listen to what I'm listening to anyway, and I don't know. It's probably not that great anyway. Alright, so we've got all these hand poses now. I can delete the red. And now I need to go back out and grab his color. See his hands, I made his hands a lot simpler, but I really like complicated hands, so... Oh wait, that didn't work. And that is not the right color. Look at that. That does not work. Why? That makes me furious. I can't select that color. And it's only sometimes. Maybe it has something to do with this. No, look at that. It will not work. Alright, well, I know what color his skin is, but I shouldn't have to deal with that. Right? That is what color it is, I think. Alright. Let's paint behind. SoundCloud has a large amount of music free to use. Yeah, the thing about SoundCloud is that you're right. The thing is that in order to know that it's what I want on here and that it doesn't start getting really loud and irritating suddenly, I have to listen to the whole stream first, and I don't really have time for that. So anyway, that's why my stream is silent. Sorry. I'll figure it out one day. This is only my 6th broadcast. 7 if you count the drinking and drawing I do sometimes. But that one I could do whatever I want on, I guess. Actually, no, you still can't. If I broadcast with music. I do have a friend that creates a lot of music, and he's supposed to get me some of his, just like his doodly music stuff, instrumental stuff, so I might end up playing some of that at some point. But he ain't gotten it for me yet, so I cannot do that. Right. No, I know exactly who Sam is, but I don't know how to get in touch with him. I guess I'll just mention it on the Adobe Twitch thing or the Adobe Slack, and we can maybe he'll answer me that way. All right. Alright, so I'm just getting all of these. Actually, probably don't want it to be that big. More like that. I think I'll probably just wait until I figure out what I need there. Alright, so now let's add the hands. Distribute to layer so that it's his hand. And I need to add another hand, so I'm going to copy that, put that all the way in the back at the bottom. And, oh wait, I grabbed the wrong one. There. Alright, so now I'm going to go through, find that one I did. There we go. Alright, so it has to be above the forearm. There we go. Alright, and you can see my line quality is a little bit different from pose to pose. So, but now I can actually go back in and fix some of this stuff. My lines are a little right now, as you can see. I can smooth it a little bit. That helps a little bit, but really just got to go back in and clean all this stuff up the right way. But at least I have a starting point now. Yes. Hey, Sid. Hey, how you doing? Thank you for showing up a little bit. We were just talking about you. Cool stuff. And I got 20 minutes left, and then I'll be out of your way. And you can do your stuff. Right? It's 20 minutes? Yeah. 20 minutes. 20 minutes. Just as well. I'm getting hungry. I gotta go eat something. I don't know what I'm gonna eat today, but something good. Somebody was mentioning pizza, I think, in the last broadcast. That sounds good, but I don't know. Pizza's not good for somebody my age. So probably won't eat pizza. It's a young man's food. Yeah, and all these hands are different sizes and whatnot. It doesn't really matter for now. Alright. So. Anyway, so there's the basics of a character. Now watch, they're both, see? It's you can see they're all animating. But that's essentially what you do with them. You animate the character frame by frame. Wait, hold on. Did I lock? Oh, that's why I locked this. Didn't I? Where is it? Hands, blah, blah, blah. Hand, there it is. So I'm going to turn this to single frame. Turn this is already to single frame. Oh, right, because I changed it there. All right. So you can see that the line weight on some of this stuff isn't the same. So I have to actually do my little tweak on it. See, did that work? Yep, that worked. Let's go and yeah, his hands they look like garbage. But that's because I haven't had the time to really sit and get them right. But they work well enough to demonstrate this whole thing. So there's a character. Now the thing that I got to do is I'm going to delete that part. I'm going to now what's this? Oh, that's this. I don't need this anymore either. All right, so now I'm going to take all of this stuff and I'm going to copy it all. Actually, I can just cut it. Wait, what happened? Did I not select everything? I did not select everything. You gotta select everything. I'm reading. Let's see. Oh, all right. Well, Sid, I'm glad. A rainstorm. Wow, it doesn't rain in California. We even wrote a song about it. I wish it did rain in California, but it doesn't. All right. So now, Anyway, what I'm doing here is I am going to insert. I just cut all of that stuff out. I'm just gonna call this Boudreaux, and I'm gonna put everything inside a symbol here. So now I've got all of my layers inside a symbol. My entire character is inside a symbol. And now he is his own symbol. So now I can drag him out onto the stage and I can manipulate him any way I want. See, he's tiny, but I can resize him. And he was still lip sync. I do need, let's save this just in case for some reason Animate decides to crash on me. Let's get rid of the mute sounds.
Yo, I gotta kill the.
Anyway, so that's essentially how you rig a basic character, and then so now you'll start to animate the character inside this clip inside this on the stage. So if I create another layer and I get the properties and
Yo,
so now I'd go in and inside the head
yo,
and I'd start to change the eyes according to what I need. But you know what, I also remember that I really don't want this to be blue. I don't like them that way. And I am a sandwich kind of guy. I like sandwich. Sandwiches are good. You know what I really like? I like cheeseburgers. I like cheeseburgers. I like hot wings. I like cheeseburgers. Cheeseburgers are good. And yeah, Sid, you're in Florida. Yeah, it rains a lot there. Actually, it rains a lot there, but it's hot and muggy raining. Oh, that's right. I remember. Yeah, you got purple hair, Sid. That's cool. I should dye my hair purple. It'd end up, or if I dye it green, you know what? I just look like a tennis ball because my hair's so short. It's just like a little tennis ball. I would look really dumb like that. Anyway. All right, so really all you're doing now is going through and animating the characters. So let's say if I want to have him blink as he's saying something. Let's go back to my trusty keyframe caddy. I'm going to load the frames and I'm going to have him blink. Right there. Actually, there. And then I'll hold for a second and then have him actually, just to demonstrate.
yo,
Oh, wait. There.
yo, yo.
Alright, so now I just gotta match this eye up to what he's doing. There.
Yo, yo. Yo.
Alright, so let's go back here. I've got 12 minutes left. So I'll start wrapping this up. Alright, and so you can see instantly if I have his eye go backwards and I want him to look back at the camera, I would have to add more poses of his eye blinking here. And I can do that very quickly by selecting that artwork because I put it on its own layer and pasting it and then just adding the pupil there and the whites there and See, now he's blinking and he's looking the other way. So let's see, there. Now I gotta go back and do the same thing with this one. Bam. Oh wait, whoops. I grabbed the wrong symbol. Boom. 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 And boom. Alright.
Oh, no. I gotta get oh, no.
The voice is the voice is irritating, I know. Alright, well, but you get the idea. And that's all I was really trying to show you. So let's see, let's go with this. I've got 10 minutes left. I got enough time to do a little bit of lip sync. Mouth is way too big there. Alright. So now I've got this head and he's lip syncing.
Yo, I got a killer right there.
Right? So now the thing about this, and this is why you do everything in all these layers and whatnot, is that now I can, he's on this symbol,
Yo, I got a killer right there.
but now I can go back in and I could have him do a little antic on his head and start to tilt his head just a little bit. See, and you see kind of why you set that stuff up. Did I study videos to learn how to animate lip sync? No, I didn't. I just, especially with a program like this, you can just sort of learn it as you're going. I mean, you can do that, but you can find like the basic. I forget whether I would never remember whether or not it's phonemes or phonemes, but anyway, you can just find that stuff online. At least for cartoons, what looks right. So now look, I've got a head. I've got the character. I don't know why it did that. So you can see I can manipulate the head, but all of the animation is inside, and all I'm animating is the one head symbol. Now you can do the same thing with the body too. And then once I've done that, I can actually go back out here and I can squash and stretch the entire character to give him a little more bounce. And that's exactly why I animate this stuff like this. Anyway, I mean, obviously you'd have to do a lot of details with that. Usually I'll actually use this as a tween, which allows you to kind of manipulate things a little bit more smoothly. But anyway, that's how you do it. And that's why you do it. And that's why everybody thinks that Flash is so powerful. Because of all of this symbol using. So now I can also go back and I can animate the eyebrows and whatnot so that there's more detail in them. Yeah, lip syncing is fun. It's actually my favorite part of the animation process. You know? And yeah, as long as they're close, it works fine. And really, honestly, watch anime and you could actually, it can just go blah, 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 open and close. And 9 times out of 10 it works pretty well unless you have to add like an ooh mouth or whatever. Pretty amazing. But yeah, that's exactly the point, is that it brings it to life. And the more that you mess around with this stuff, the more that you can really play with it. And that's exactly why you rig a character and how you rig a character. Now, if I was going to animate this more, I would probably add, you know, start adding his hands and whatnot as well. But I'm running out of time, so I'm really not going to have much time to do that. But and wait, bam, and there. All right. And so I'll just keep finding the little places to raise his. Maybe I want to give him a little bit of a shrug here. We have 4 minutes left. And probably I will boom, boom, and the hand. And I will probably give him a little bit of a shrug here. See? Yeah, it's not working. But I gotta, because I'm rushing it, I think. Gotta look at the there. So there, now he's gonna and then you'd have to go back in and raise his torso as well. And I'd have to do the other arms. The other part of the arm. I got 3 minutes left. Stay and watch Sid do her stuff next. Because you should. I know I'm going to sit and watch for a little while myself. Because it's great to watch people do work. Alright. Got 2 minutes left. Trying to make sure I finish on time. And then I could, I could animate these arms going upward now. And really start to animate the character. But I don't have time for that today, so I'm not going to do that. Draw along with you. Maybe I will, actually. Oh, and you can follow me on Milo Works if you want to watch that, or go to my somebody asked me, although I can't find it. You can go to either YouTube and find me, Milo Works on there, or you can find me on
You can go to my website, miloworks.com, which is down at the bottom of the stream here. And again, on Adobe, I'm here every day or every Saturday from 12 to 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So, as a last little thing, it is time now for the next person to come up, Sid Wheeler. So, how about you guys give her a whole bunch of hearts and welcome her, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you for watching my stream, and I will be here next week as well. All right? Take care, guys, and enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.